Hey everybody, welcome back to the Profit CFO, where we have the three pillars that help you understand what you make, what you keep, and what you spend in order to help you put a little bit more profit or keep a little bit more profit in your pocket. So today what we're going to be talking about is something that's very important to myself and how I run the business and things that we use with our clients. It's called a profit meeting. Is that something that you have with yourself? Do you even know how to have one? Well, don't worry, after this video is over, you 100% will. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome back. So like I said in the intro, what we're going to be talking about today is a profit meeting. And why am I making a video about this? Well, I was giving a little talk about a month ago, and it was one of the questions that I asked, how many of you have a regular profit meeting? And I had hands raised on the Zoom immediately, being like, what is a profit meeting? I'm a team of one. How do I have a profit meeting? Can I still have a profit meeting? And what I thought I would do is just help people understand that, yes, even as a team of one, you can 100% have a profit meeting. If you're a team of 10, you can still have a profit meeting. The structure of the meeting doesn't change whether there's one person or 10 people in the room. Maybe the scope of what's on the profit meeting and like the numbers that you're looking at is going to change, but how you do it and how you manage it, it's not going to change. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply break it down today in how you go ahead and get started creating a document for it that's going to give you the structure that you need. We're going to talk about the three important things that you actually need to be looking at least from our perspective. The first thing that I want you to do, it's very, very, very important. I need you to pick a day and block out an hour on your calendar. Now, mind you, I know you're like an hour. Sometimes it's not going to take an hour to do this, but I would rather you have it on the calendar so that you have full focus on this piece. Think about who you are. Are you super busy in the mornings? Are you extremely busy in the afternoons? When's the time that you start typically canceling meetings? Things like that. You want to avoid that time. You want to avoid the time where people are walking in and out of your office, because this needs to be a time, this is the time for you to sit and really look at the health of the business in a way that it gives you the opportunity to play offense as opposed to playing defense once you see the numbers and you start to panic. Right. Pull out your calendar right now. If it's Fridays for you, if it's Sunday mornings for you, go ahead and just block out that hour. And I need you to commit to actually showing up for this hour. Don't just blow it off because it's on your calendar. It needs to be treated like a doctor's appointment that you pay to show up to because it's that important to the health of your business. Once you've created that, the next thing that you're going to have to create is going to be your profit meeting template. And we're going to break it into pretty much 4 pieces. Okay. When it comes to creating the template, one of the first things that you want is it's going to be 5 to 6 different tabs on Excel or Google Docs. If that's how you choose to do it, that's how I play with it. But I've got the monthly page. So right now we're in March. So I've got the monthly page, and the thing that I have on here, what's my goal for the month, my revenue goal, what's my expense goal. I have a couple of things written about where my budget should be for this month. We've got the important KPIs for the month so that it's very easy to kind of play with. And we also have last month's actuals as well as this year's up to date. So where the revenue is to date. That's what I have. All that information is at the touch of my hand. I sit down on the 1st of the month, or if the 31st is really slow, I can go ahead and start making it for that month. I might just not have the full total for the last month's actuals, but most of the time I do because of the way that I bill. I have all of that, so it's at my fingertips, and then as I'm going through in my week by week, it's very easy for me to go ahead and take the information and transfer it over. The other thing here is, like I said, I want you to pick a day. But I also want you to understand that there's a couple of other dates that are going to be very important. The 1st, the 15th, and the 25th. If you're checking in every week and keeping this up to date, you are solid. The 1st, you've got to have beginning of the month numbers. By the 15th, I definitely want you to pop in also really quickly, especially if you're keeping this up, and just do a small assessment and be like, okay, cool, we're at half the month. How did this half of the month go? Rate it and give yourself some tasks, some systems, some ideas of what you might need to do in order to blow up the second half of the month. right? And then on the 25th, just go ahead and check in again and make sure you're where you were, where you wanted to be on the 15th. And if you're not, you still have a couple of days in most months to course correct. How I set up my sheet, it is set up in thirds. The first part is broken into monthly numbers, monthly goals. The second part on the right-hand corner is broken down into any type of transactions that I have to pay on a reoccurring basis every single month. I have all those bills that come out reoccurring. That way I can go through, I can double check that it has been paid. The second section down for me, and we're going to dive into all of this, is going to be the Know Your Numbers section. Okay, very, 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 very important to what you are doing. And then the section under that is going to be KPIs, followed by, and we keep this all in the same section, but it's KPIs followed by money admin, right? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I have in all of that. But so far, if you've been watching the channel for a little bit and you think that I'm delivering some great value, would love to have you like and subscribe, maybe even shoot a comment down. It keeps me motivated to make content like this, and also lets me know what you guys really want to hear. Let's talk a little bit about the Know Your Numbers part. You don't have a bookkeeper doing your numbers on a weekly basis, and that's okay. It's one of the things you can ask your bookkeeper if they can kind of keep things up to date, especially if you don't have a lot of transactions coming through. Some people do have bookkeepers that are keeping them up to date. If not, you're going to just have to find a way to run reports, if you're in QuickBooks, if you're in Wave, so that you can actually pull this information during your profit meeting and have it at the tip of your fingertips. But being able to see some of your P&L, the current month to date, is going to help. What we're really looking for are those three things. What have I made in the last week? What have I kept in the last week? And what have I spent? So your example is $10,000 came in this week. Your goal for the month is $40,000. We know that we're on target there. But you also spent $9,500 because you had payroll, you had a couple of the reoccurring transactions coming through, and then you decided to pay for a conference, right? So we know that we have spent $9,500. We've got $500 that we are keeping. From there, you can kind of see, do you have enough to make it to the next week, or are you going to have to scale back a little bit of your spending in that month? The next thing I want you to do is to go ahead and pull up your bank balances, whether you use your phone for that, whether you use the computer. Just kind of want you to check what your month to date is. If you know that you're supposed to have $500 in there, where are you? Does it say that you're under that? Does it say that you're above that? If you're above that, you're probably keeping money in the checking account, using it as a savings account, and not transferring it out into regular places. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but this is something that can really, really, really help you grow a couple of different accounts so that you always have money for what you need it for, and it's always being utilized for what you want. Next up is going to be pulling up your budget and comparing your budgeted numbers for what you anticipated you were going to spend, what you budgeted for the $40,000 in the month, as well as what you have actually spent. Once you have the budgets and the actual numbers up, you can really compare, cross-check, and see, hey, am I on pace for my spending in these areas, or did I overspend? Did I make a quick decision, an impulse decision, or have I been managing the numbers right? This is not a make wrong or a make right. This is just so that you have the data. Numbers are black and white. Money, it's black and white. There's no gray area in between there. You either did or you didn't. We're just trying to get a little bit better at you doing. And once you're able to look at your budget versus actual numbers, there's three questions that I really want you to play in. Okay. These questions are, first one is, am I on target? It's a simple answer. It's either yes or it's no. If it's yes, awesome. You can go ahead and move into the next step. If it's no, there's two follow-up questions for that. So if it's no, the question is, okay, how much am I off and what do I need to make up heading into next week? And once you figure out that number, so say the number was $10,000 again and you only brought in $8,000 last week, we know that this week you've got to make up $2,000, so the new total is $12,000, right? It's $12,000. The next question is, do I need to change any of my KPIs? What are KPIs? They're your key performing indicators. You should have 3 to 5 of those picked so that you can focus on moving those metrics forward. They can be anything depending on what your business is. It could be leads, it could be calls made, it could be clients closed, new business brought in. Anything that you know is very important on the revenue side, those are your KPIs. So if you need to make $12,000 and your original estimate was to only close 5 new clients, well, we need to figure out, do you now need to close 7 if each one of those clients is worth $2,000, right? I mean, do you need to close 6 if they're worth $2,000? You might need to close an extra client, which means that you need to take the KPI up for the next week and make sure that you and your team are all on the same page so that you can actually bring the revenue in that you need to bring in. If you're over target, do you change it? I wouldn't suggest changing it. If you're over target, so 10,000 was supposed to come in, 14 came in, why not continue to aim for that 10? Having over means that we're going to have a bigger month, which means that there's going to be a lot more profit that we can transfer out at the end of the month. I'd rather you be over, clearly, than being under. The second section for you is the KPI section. That's exactly what we were just talking about right there. On the monthly, you're going to break it down. Hey, we need to close X amount of clients because that's going to give us this revenue, which means it breaks down into this many leads. It breaks down into this many booked calls. It could be, hey, this is how many units we need to sell. Like I said, 3 to 5. I wouldn't go more than 5. I'd probably stay in the 3. I typically have 3 to 4 areas so that you can truly focus on those. And then you just need to break them up by week. So say our goal for closed clients was 20. We're breaking it up by a month that has 4 weeks. You know, we'd be breaking it up into, I've got to get 5 clients every week in order to be on target for my financial goal at the end of the month. It's very, very, very important. On this piece right here, what you're going to have is your target. You're going to have your actual number, and then you're going to have a space for a plan just to write out, hey, you know what? Our target was 4. We only hit 5. Our plan is 2. And then you at least know what your plan is for that week. After that part, it's what I like to call money admin. And why do I call it money admin? Well, one, I don't like admin personally, but I love money. So when you put one of my favorite things that I love in front of something that I'm not as fond of, it really makes it, a lot stronger of a word for me. So that's what I like to call it. It's the money admin. So there's about 5 things that we're checking out on this one. The first thing that we're going to check out is money that's owed. So that is money that's late coming in from clients. Say that you have clients on reoccurring memberships, and one of them came back with, hey, it was insufficient funds, and you need to go and chase that person. Well, you need to know that you need to chase them before the end of the month. That way you can actually reach out, call, have a conversation, and actually get that money coming in. Money owed. You've got Jonathan. He owes $400 for this month, and you're going to have a buy-when date on that. And a little box for, have we followed up? Has it closed? The next one that you're going to have is going to be money that is incoming. So this is new business. So of those 5 clients that you needed to close, let's say that you closed 4 of them already this month, and each one of those clients is worth $2,000. You know that you've got $800 coming in. You should have their names on there and their buy-when dates, and that way you can go ahead and check to make sure on the next week that those accounts or that money has been deposited into the account. Okay. After that, we're going to talk a little bit about the debts, right? So any outstanding debts that you might possibly have. And when I'm talking about outstanding debts, it's you are waiting for an invoice to come in from maybe a vendor that you use that you haven't seen yet. The money's in there right now and you're waiting to pay it. It doesn't make sense to spend the money that's in the account. So I need you to make sure that you understand how much in dollars you actually owe on the outside, right? So just kind of keeping track of that, where you've got a total number. Hey, you know what? There's 2 invoices that haven't cleared just yet. I need to check and make sure that my team has sent them out. or I need to follow up and make sure that they have pulled it or billed me for it. So, hey, that number is $5,000. Do I have enough in the bank account for it? I do. That's all we're looking for. Next up is going to be the needed transfers, right? This is a section that I like to call the do it now part, because we're going to look through at a couple of different accounts, and I want you to start transferring money. If you're using the Profit First system, you're going to start transferring money into a couple of different accounts so that we know that we have money in the right accounts to pay for the things that we need to pay for. So the ones that I'm really looking at and talking to my clients about, we've got a tax account, we've got a profit account, we've got a payroll or paycheck account, we have an ops account, and then some other people like to have others. It could be like for marketing for you. It could be for business travel, whatever you want, whatever you think is important if you'd like to. I have a couple of clients that are putting payroll in a completely different account just to make sure that they can see the amount that's coming through because they know that it's coming out every week. But what we're going to do is whatever your percentage is that is allocated for that particular account, if you have the money in the account, you're going to go ahead and transfer it over. If you don't, you're going to mark NA and put a reason why, right? I don't know if you guys have actually heard about Profit First, but it is something that is an amazing system. It's one of the ones that I personally love using with my clients and businesses. And what I actually did do is I have created a video for you that breaks it down, makes it very easy to understand, and it comes with a whole bunch of real world examples from a couple of different businesses so you can see what the numbers actually look like in play. So as you implement your profit meetings, this is something that you might want to check out. Go ahead and check out that video. We've got it over here.